It's time to open the mailbag to help solve your problem letters. Dr. Duncan Thompson is on the couch, along with Maribel Linfield. Jeanette McDonald and Gaza is joining us from Christchurch. Hi, Gary.
G'day there.
Let me read out our first viewer's letter. I spend all my free time with my best friend of many years. She recently told me she's going on her OE, which totally threw me. Something we always talked about doing together. I get the strong impression I'm not invited. This really hurts and I wonder what I've done. I'll be totally lost without her. And that's Shelley from Hamilton. Jeanette, do you want to kick this off?
Well, Shelley, if you go around saying, I'll be totally lost without you, that's sort of bottom-clenchingly terrifying to a person. I mean, it's very suffocating. A friendship is like any partnership, like a marriage. It needs its own space. And I suspect, I don't know, how often do you initiate the visits with your friend? I'm sure you're really close and everything, but maybe your friend's thinking, hang on, you know, I'm not married to Shelley, and possibly would like to sort of strike out. Now, whatever your feelings from this point on, if you want to maintain that friendship, because it's very precious, give her your blessing, support her. Don't you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, is it sort of a sign, Duncan, that there's a bit of that the friend's feeling a bit claustrophobic and that's why she's decided to go on her own?
I think it's hard to say. I think she's got to ask, because she says she's hurt, but there doesn't seem to be any evidence yet about if she needs to be hurt, that someone else could have lots and lots of assumptions about perhaps why someone won't go travelling with them. Maybe her friend thinks she hasn't got enough money, or that she's working so she can't go. So I think you have to have that conversation, because only then can you start getting over the friendship, if that's what happens, kind of renegotiating the friendship if she has kind of rejected you, or saving up your money to go travelling with her if indeed that's what she wanted. So I think you just have to ask. You
have to go in and just say, look, I'm hurt. Maribel, what are your feelings about this?
You know, as we get older, our lives go in different directions. Some people have families, some people travel, some people have work experiences. This is her time to embrace whatever's come her way. If it didn't work out for the timing for both of you to experience it at the same time, so be it. Be happy for your friend. And with modern internet, you know, you can keep in touch still. The friendship is still there.
Gary.
Yes, I must admit that from the letter that we've received, I feel slightly claustrophobic myself, Shelley, and I don't know what that is. I think that maybe you have been very dependent upon this friendship, and maybe you do lean on this person a bit much, and maybe this is a sign because she now wants to go overseas on her own. So I'd go with Duncan in the sense you might as well confront her, well, not confront her, talk to her. Confront is the wrong word. Talk to her and ask her, does she want to go on her own and what her reasons are, if you can bring yourself to do it. But I have a feeling, Shelley, you're going to find it very, very hard to do that.
I don't think it is a tough one. Hopefully that advice has been good. It probably is. I mean, it does sound like you just... I mean, in any situation, isn't it best to just go to the source? Wouldn't we agree?
Up to a point, but I think the friend's giving you a clear directive that she wants to do something independently of you. So rather than making it worse by going, what have I done wrong? I'll be lost without you. You have to think about why you are lost, or you'll be lost without her. Make some time to enjoy yourself, by yourself. I mean, that's the key to life. If you can be a strong, independent person, then other people will want to be with you.
Find your own happiness.
That's right. They say you can only be, you know, you have to be happy within yourself before you can make other people happy.
That's so true.
Lucy, via email, writes, now this is a curious one. I've been with my partner for 4 years and we're getting married in November. The odd thing is I've never seen him without his beard. I'm itching to see the man I'm going to marry face to face. It might be frightening. It would be nice to have wedding photos with him smooth and clean shaven, but he refuses to forego the face fungus. He says he's not going to play Samson to my Delilah. What should I do? Duncan, let's start with you.
I've heard it said about marriage, and I'm sure I'm going to get this wrong, but that women marry men expecting them to change and men marry women expecting them to stay the same. And it sounds like that's very much what's going on. And I guess my advice is simple. Either accept the man you fell in love with the beard, or don't get married.
The fact that she calls it face fungus, that's pretty strong words. And I myself, I would, you know, unless she's known him for a very long time, perhaps as a preteen, before he took this look on, she might be out of luck, and so she has to basically decide. I would want to know myself. I understand where she's coming from, but, you know, this is the man she has chosen. Accept him.
And just be grateful he doesn't have a moustache. That's what I would say, Gary. Am I allowed to say that?
Well, I think this is an interesting one. It could be, Lucy, it could be that maybe this guy has an unfortunate skin condition. You know, maybe when he was 16 he had bad acne and he's trying to hide it with a beard. Or he may be a distinguished scientist, and we know for a fact that any guy who's a scientist has to have a beard, and if he cuts off his beard, he'll probably stop being a distinguished scientist. So you must be very careful how you challenge him over this one, and I think, you know, if he has not made the effort to trim off his beard for you by now, then I think it's all over, baby. You know, you're going to live with a guy from the scientific division of Lincoln University or something or other and get used to it. I don't think it's going to change now.
I reckon beards, I know I'm not meant to have an opinion, but I reckon beards
Of course you are.
Beards are quite sexy, and what you could suggest, this is just my opinion, is embrace it, but just ask him to do a Don Johnson, because that could be quite sexy. Do you remember Don Johnson?
No, not Don Johnson.
You know the
He's
one
like
where they
a
have just
ferret.
Or a goatee.
A goatee.
Self-regarding ferret.
Self-regarding. Anyway, you could get him to crop it a little closer if it's like one of those really long ones.
Look, I have been there. My husband, the man I married, was... on our wedding day, he looked like Captain Haddock in a morning suit. When I met him, he was excitingly gypsy-ish. He had dark brown eyes, and then from the nose down, you could see what he looked like. It was just all black beard. And funnily enough, his brother was his best man, and he was a scientist, and he had a beard too. It was like being lost in the enchanted forest. I wouldn't have dreamt of asking him to do anything, but I did wonder over the years, does he finish at the nose? And about 10 years on Christmas Day, he suddenly removed it, and he wandered around the house for a while. We were preoccupied with the green jeans I'd given him, and he didn't like them. He said I looked like Darby O'Gill and the Little People. It was only about lunchtime I looked up and I thought, who is this complete stranger? But he looked quite attractive. I just live with it. I mean, you were attracted to him with a beard, and just get on with it.
Exactly, it can be sexy. Anyway, On the Couch is going to continue, and later we meet Oscar-winning musical duo, The Swell Season. Amazing, amazing. They're from Once, that fabulous film about 3 years ago. That's all after this from Mark.